Okay? We're back to the story. Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma and this person. We left off Reish Lamed Ches, first column, bottom paragraph. He asked the question, Rabbi Yosef ben Kisma, he didn't acknowledge this person on the way. The person first acknowledged him, then he responded. So he said that because when one travels by himself, you have to be fully immersed in Torah. So because he was fully immersed in Torah, therefore he did not interrupt his thought process to acknowledge this person. No, it's very, with this, the Chazal is very good. This question was, it says, Rabbi Yochanan Zakkai, that even if he would meet a non-Jew in the shuk, in the market, he would be the first one to acknowledge him. So why, whatever Yosef Mikismos, he differentiates, he says, here was Hoyab Holich Bederech. It's a person who goes Bederech Yichidi, the Gemara says Nervin, you have to study Torah, because you have to, it's Levoyos Chein, because you have to be accompanied. So if you don't have a human accompaniment with you, the Torah is the accompaniment. So therefore, that's the reason we need Torah. But Yochanan Zakkai, it was in the shuk. The shuk is in the community. It's not bederech. Therefore, he was able. He didn't have to have that degree of involvement in Torah thought. Therefore, he was able to acknowledge even the goy, even the non-Jew. Rabbi Yosef Mikisma was fully preoccupied with Torah. Avol b'lavochi lo kasher bo lomar shoy odem kosher v'hogun. Shoy odem kosher v'hogun. The Torah wants to point out that the person was a proper person. V'im lokein af she'omar ki yitin elef alofim ulai Devarim shel hevel heim. Vein bo mamash. I mean, people promise people the world. So evidently, he said to him, he says, even if you offer me all the money in the world, I'm not coming, because your community doesn't have Torah. I mean, first of all, I don't trust you, right? What does he have to say? He doesn't even have to go that far. He says, I'm not interested. If he had reason not to trust the man, that what he's saying is not trustworthy, he said, let me think about it. I'll see you some other time. Why do you respond with such absoluteness? Even if you would, I'm not coming, because it's not a location of Torah. Since he behaved properly and he acknowledged him, he says, Sholom Alecha Rebbe. He acknowledged him properly. So he saw he's what? He's a refined person. Be refined, that means he's a man that his word is a word. Would you come to him, we'll offer you anything you want. So he means, he's sincere and he means what he says. Because he's already displayed his level of credibility, of integrity. So what the person said to Rabbi Yosef Kismo was truthful and was proper. That's why it gives us the background information. First, he acknowledged him and said, Sholom Alecha Rebbe. That's to identify the person as an upright person, the person he met. V'choma ufoga ki odem echod, v'loma ufogati b'odem echod. Upoga ki lo nosen hu al libo b'pigo bo, shem nosen libo al zeh hoyo hu posech b'sholom. Okay. V'yitur shesholos emezem mokomato. He asked him, from what community do you come from? Right? The person he met asked Rabbi Yosef, from what type of community do you come from? That's what he asked him. He immediately, because Rabbi Yosef was so immersed in Torah, he realized immediately he's not an ordinary person. He didn't say, who are you? He saw who he was. He only, what kind of community do you come from? A person who's immersed, there's a story. This book is put out by Art Scrolls called Tale of Two Worlds. So over there, originally, the Rosh Hashiva in Torah Vodas in the 40s was Reb Shlomo Hyman. Shlomo Hyman, Zichron Levarocha, was the Rosh Hashiva Torah Vodas. Mr. Mendelovich had brought him from Europe. He was a Rosh Hashiva in Vilna. Reb Chaim Oz had a Yeshiva in Vilna. He was the Rosh Hashiva. So Reb Moshe Feinstein came in 1941 to the States. He was already here. And Reb Shlomo Hyman was a little bit older than Reb Moshe. And he immediately identified Reb Moshe. He says he's destined to be the Gadol Hador, the leading Torah sage in America. How did he know this? Because the first time he noticed him, he saw the way he was conducting himself. Whenever he learned, he never allowed his back to touch the back of the chair. That was the degree of his involvement in Torah study. Never for a moment did he actually take a moment's relaxation. He was fully invested in what he learned. And he understood this is the way he learned his whole life. He said, if that's the case, he's the future Gadol Hador in America. That's what he said. He saw this person, saw Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma, this degree of attachment, immersion in Torah, clearly, Talmud Chacham Gadol. He's not just a person who studied. This man is something exceptional. I once mentioned that, whenever I used to see Rav Moshe on the Lower East Side walking the street, it's Lo Posak Puma Migirsa. His lips, he looked down at, in those days he walked himself. He didn't have any accompaniment in the street. He looked at the sidewalk, and his lips were continuously moving. Never stopped for a moment, his lips. He was reviewing Shas continuously. That's the way he learned. That's the way he lived his life. So what does that mean? He's a Talmud Chacham. It's more than being a Talmud Chacham. Continuously involved, and it's not, because he didn't take his medication, Chas v'sholom. That's the reason why he's talking to himself. That wasn't the case. Right? So if I'd see Steve walking down the street, I saw that, I wouldn't suspect for a moment that he's been in yeshiva for 6 years. That's why we haven't seen him. That's not the reason. Okay? Okay, you got your piece today. Okay. B'sholom eizemokam ato. He asked him, where do you come? Like he was amazed. He hasn't seen this kind of behavior. He says, where do you come from? Shem eino mimokam tori vakshmino shiyoder etzlo kach. Shiyoder etzlo kach. He says, if he won't say some Mokum Torah, he says, please come to our community. And if he does come to Mokum Torah, everybody has his price. He'll try to convince him by financial incentives to come. Do you go down to Boca Raton? Do you go down to what? People have their incentives to go to different places. Ira, right? Okay. Rabbi Yossi understood it immediately. Why is he asking for where does he come? It's irrelevant where he comes from. Shalom Aleichem, have a good day. You want to ask me a question, a halacha question? Fine. What are you starting to ask me these personal questions? He immediately understood Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma that he's asking for where does he come, because if in fact he is available, he wants him to come to his community. He understood he may be, because his city is a city of Torah, Rabbi Yossi ben Kisma is not going to want to leave his community. He understood everything in advance. So he told me in advance, I come from a large city with great chachomim and sofrim. And therefore I have no interest in living in your community. And regardless of the incentives, you offer me a king's ransom, it's not enough reason for me to leave my city. I'm not even enticed. I'm not even enticed, there's nothing what to talk about. It's interesting. Chofetz Chaim gives a mashal. In terms of what a person is willing to give up for sharing the world to come. He says, what is it analogous to? A person was a very wealthy man, and he had an only child, and his son had a rare blood disease. And the professor said, the only way he's able to survive, he has to have a blood transfusion. They first came up with blood transfusions, and the blood, it has to be taken from young children. Okay? So what does he get? So what does he do? He goes out to a village where the people are very poor, destitute, and he says to the parents, I'm willing to pay a very large amount of money. I want it to take the blood from your children. To take your children's blood because my child needs a blood transfusion. People say, are you out of your mind? Do you think we're going to put our life, give our children's blood because you need it? But I'm going to pay you a fortune. He says, do you think we're insane? You think we're going to sacrifice our children for money? This is the Chafetz Chaim's mashal. So he says, there are all kinds of allures into the world. They're sapping our neshama for what? For $1. You mean for that you're going to do it? You're going to give that up for that? But how could I turn them down? What do you mean how could you turn them down? Are you going to give your neshama for that? Same thing. Rabbi Yosef Kisma says, you could offer me everything in the world. There's no way. I'm not giving that. I'm not going there. I understand what I have and I understand what you don't have. You're welcome to come to my community. I can't go to your community. To be continued. No, he was putting their children and lives in jeopardy. So you can't do that. She'll come to us. I always say it. It's not simple. Avram Avinu, he was in a situation, he was in a vacuum. There's a total void. Okay, you have to do what you have to do. But if you're in a good place, and now by making the change, you're putting yourself in jeopardy, you have no right. My mashgiach used to say always, evidently it was said in Kelm, that in Europe they had chimney sweepers. You ever see pictures of a chimney sweeper? They were covered with soot from head to toe. So they used to say that a person who goes into Kiruv, although he may cleanse other people, the question is, what does he look like at the end of the day? When you engage and you expose yourself to all kinds of foreign philosophies and heretical thoughts and all levels of exposure, which are contrary to spirituality, to what degree, you come back with battle injuries? How many bronze medals or Purple Hearts do you need when you come back from the battlefield? Because you get hurt. Sometimes you get strengthened. Sometimes you get worn down. Sometimes you have rabbis. You take a look at them. When they were in yeshiva, they were exceptional. At tremendous. 40 years later, they went down to Wheeling, West Virginia. See what they look like after 40 years. Because people compromise, they justify, rationalize this, that, for the sake of that, and then they become different people. Not simple. You need Das Torah to advise you, of course. No, not necessarily. If it's Koach Nefesh, you don't have to go. How many people have lost their families because of that? Their kids turned out to be not religious. How many people with their families turned out to be not observant because they went there? Everything has to be weighed. Many years ago, there was a question of me. I got a call from Moshe Shira, Zechron Levrach, who was then Agudas Yisrael. And he asked me to go to an out-of-town community to become a Rav in Aguda. I said, I'm not going. I have no interest. He says, why not? I said, look, I'm not going to allow my children to be korbanos. That's what I said to him. I said, my children will be grown, different story. But my children, there's not proper education there. I'm not going there. He says, but you have an obligation. I said, you know something? I already discussed it with my Rosh Yeshiva. He said, don't go. That was the end of the conversation. There was nothing more to talk about. Understand? That was the end of the conversation. He also learned years ago in the 40s. He learned in Baltimore. So he understood. My Rosh Yeshiva said, no was no. There's nothing more to talk about. Okay.